right, we're unmuted.
You set it up.
Count on concert.
We'll start. Sir. Nothing there. No sweat. No sweat. Let's put a few paper towels from. If there's any paper towels over there with the plastic equipment. You know what I'm talking about? The square napkins. You see them? Or not even? No. Don't do this. Go dig it up. It's too wild. It's too wild. If there ain't none, you probably just had a re-up on it. I thought there was there.
Might be something too.
You could check and see. You could check and see. If there is, it's on not a whole lot, but is there? Yeah, you could just put that on the counter for now. And this. So, Yahweh Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers, Yahshua Matan, Bashim Yahshai to all the sisters. Any questions online so far? Or any room?
La, sir. Nothing online right now, sir.
No sweat. What's going on? Toss a coin today, bro. Toss a coin. That's what I was saying.
It's like crazy.
Okay. So today we're going to do.
So like, there's a.
You want to hold this one time or you could look it after class?
I could take that, sir.
I don't want to forget. I know how we're gonna say after class and we'll be talking about some shit. Then you can put it in your pocket or something. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's all it's running. That's all we run. Go ahead.
No, there was a brother online. It says I have a question, and I just put the banner up. Says type any questions in the chat, sir.
Yeah, just put anybody have any questions, just type it in the chat, and we're gonna go. All right. So okay. Tonight for sure we're gonna go into making how to word it. Not making an enemy as being an enemy, but manufacturing an enemy, manufacturing a foe. All right. It is exactly possible to manufacture an enemy. To manufacture a foe, you could create conditions that make it where this is this person's only option. Right. Okay. I.S.U.P.K does it heavily in his military. Anybody who have ever been in I.S.U.P.K's military, he does it in his military. That's why they keep like all oppressor. You see it in sports, right? You see certain things in sports where back in the day you would see brothers and sisters doing moves and maneuvers in sports. You have to that, right? In sports, and this is not something they go home with cones and practice. This is just them on the court doing something crazy, and everybody's like, "Yo!" And then later on, as the oppressor starts to take sports as a lucrative business, he started doing what? Documenting everything. Mm-hmm. He documenting the speed in which a person this tall at this weight executes this task. Okay. And then he decides to say the optimal speed for this is you have to be this tall, and or the optimal person to perform this at the optimum speed, you have to be this tall, this heavy, and have this amount of muscularity and this amount of fat index, and you'll be good for this position. That's why he's so fitting things into a perfect square into a square. That's how his society is. Really very cookie cutter. That's why for a long while in your NFL, the quarterback was a white boy, and not just a white boy, a certain type of white boy. Okay. But then for us, we've always had unorthodox quarterbacks as black people. The first ambidextrous quarterback was a black man. Man could throw with both hands, right? Effectively. But the oppressor, that's that's not that's not a natural thing.
Right.
So he'll start to lock down everything. Which foot you plant in first before you throw.
Right.
We don't think like that, but that's how he thinks.
Mhm.
He looks at he takes it all the way down to the water consumption on a team.
Mhm.
How much they drink in regular season versus how much they drink in postseason, and how much hours it takes for you to reach. He have everything down to a science, so he's now able to do what? Effectively predict certain things, and now look at you and just be like, this position ain't gonna fit you.
Mhm.
Because of your height and your weight and that's what the combine is about. That combine that they have, where they eliminate you based on your physical scores. They have a certain datum or a certain standard over the years, and this is what they know will happen. Because he keeps meticulous notes and details about everything.
Mhm.
The grams of fat, and grams of salt, and that's not naturally how Israelites are.
Right.
You understand? That's not how we are, but that's how he is. And he had his society is like that by design, right? So now he takes that into what you have called behavioral science,
Mhm.
right? And psychology. And based on certain things that he studied, he knows exactly how long before you do something and what you're most likely prone to do. And that way he could create a villain and a hero. Right. You get the point?
Come.
Yeah, Diana?
Come, sir. I got a question, but he also like that, saying just in time, we never really keep time, so we don't celebrate birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
And he got an exact calendar.
Yeah, that's just him buying, it's like somebody asking, damn, how you do that? And you just like, do what? But then you put your hand here and then you did something, because now they had to go step by step by step. When you just do this thing,
Natural.
God given talent.
Come.
You get the point?
Okay.
So, and that's really just for the sidebar. That's really in sports. Of course, the Lord doesn't want us, thriving too much in the society. But if you're looking at, what really happened in sports, where our oppressors started actually competing with us on a level, it's that. It's we let them observe us enough where he could write everything down, and now you have some Greek freak who he's competing in the NBA.
Right.
Embiid competing in the NBA, when before some African comes, Manu Bol, he just nothing. He's tall.
Mhm.
You get the point, but now you have this thing here. Go ahead.
Come. It was once upon a time there in the NBA you couldn't dunk. You know what I'm saying? It was considered rat ball. What we were playing was called rat ball,
Right.
and we weren't allowed to dunk
Right.
because the oppressor couldn't do the things that
He
we
couldn't
did.
do what he's doing.
And
Exactly.
then after a while, just like you were saying, they were studying us,
Mhm.
and they developed a system on how to add a couple inches to your vertical, and now all these oppressors are doing it.
Exactly. They done did something that where they have more control of the outcome. That's really what they wanted. More control of the outcome of a situation, more so than creating the competition. Like the reason they study it is so that they could control the outcome. Because now if you could control the outcome, now you it's less volatile, it's less risk.
Right.
They can invest as they want because they know they have a certain return that's coming. You get it, boy? What they have. Go ahead.
And to your point, sir, it's so heavy what you're saying, because even the heathen basketball players now, when you ask them who are their heroes, they don't mention Dikembe Mutombo.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
If they go by they mention Shaq.
Yeah.
They mention Kobe. These are the people they mention. So they're prototypes of that. They fashion themselves after that, not after their own people.
Exactly. That's the nature of the oppressor. That's how he is. And because of that, he also can predict your behaviors. He also can, and because he could predict your behaviors with patterns and conditions, he can also create an adversary. Right. And I'm saying adversary, quote unquote. He can create an enemy. He can create, that thing that we all have to kill. You get the point? Somebody had that?
So I had a question on the scripture. the book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 3. Now therefore let us, Slaki, my question is about putting away heathen wives.
Okay.
Now, book of Ezra, chapter 10, verse 3. Now therefore let us make a covenant with our God to put away all the wives, such as are born with them, according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our God, and let it be done according to the law.
You asking if that's the wives to do it?
Yeah, putting away heathen wives.
This is Ezra or Nehemiah?
This is Ezra.
Ezra, I had a memory failing on that. I believe that was something he did at that time, but it was not supposed to be like that. You can't do it. It's similar to like how, is it right here when he went through and plucked the hair and stopped them? That's in Nehemiah.
That
one is Nehemiah. What is on this? Ezra 1?
Ezra 10 and 3, sir.
No, sir. Go ahead on, Bakwash, please.
Sorry if I could. This is when they were realizing how that they were sinning, and the Most High was against them, and they put them in captivity, and they was like, well, this is the reason why. And that's
why it says it there when you say the counsel from who? From our elders or something like that. You say
the counsel of my Lord.
The counsel of my Lord, right? Go ahead.
And of those that tremble at the commandment of our Lord, of our God.
Ezra 10, okay, 10 and 3, right?
Come.
Okay, go ahead.
And let it be done according to the law.
Right. So now this is not the law. This here is not the law of a law saying you have to put away heathen wife, because there's no law saying that. You have to pull the law for that. If there was a law saying that, Moses would have had to put away his own. Right. You familiar with what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Like there's no law saying you marry a heathen, you can go divorce them. You understand?
Okay.
That there's no law saying that, because of course the Lord does not like divorce, period. You marry that heathen boy, you sinned, you're gonna keep that damn broad.
Right.
And whatever comes with it. Right. So similarly for a woman marrying a heathen man. You get the point?
Okay.
Now of course that heathen ups and leave you under no burden to maintain that marriage, right?
Okay.
Somebody ups and leaves and walks out on the marriage, you give it the time, and once that time expired, the marriage is expired. You get the point?
Okay.
So here, this is not saying now. A ton of fake Israelites use this to say, if you're coming into the truth and you have a heathen wife or a husband, you can't come in unless you divorce them. That's that's not the practice for that. This was him at this time making this decree for them here, but this is not the law of the Bible. This is not the laws in Moses. You get it? You had something else to go to?
No, not to go with it. I had another question.
Okay, no, so but you understand this right here, right? I forget exactly where it came from. I know the general did a class on it. I absolutely forget this one here, because I always confuse it with the one in Nehemiah, because I think the one in Nehemiah as well, he puts away anybody who had heathen children or heathen-ish children with the language, foreign, ban them from speaking the language, pluck the hair from their head, keep them separate, similar the same way. But this one here, for sure, when he said according to the law, meaning he's making a mandate, almost like how Moses said, give them a bill of divorce. Mm-hmm. At that time, it was law. He gave you a bill of divorce. It's Moses say you're free. But that's not something you could put somebody to death for, according to the Lord. You get the point what I'm saying? So there's no law on that. You should not do it. Our law is don't marry them in the first place. Right. But if you do, that's it. You can't unmarry them. You can't, the Lord, what you have to wrap your head around this, and not just you, for anybody who gets stumbled on this, the Lord does not like divorce, and the Lord doesn't like sloppy seconds. Right. That shit, I have to say it like that, not to disrespect anybody, but I have to say it like that so you understand just how twisted the shit is. When you go into a woman and now you leave and now somebody else had to go in behind you. Or you're a woman, you let some man go into you, whether it's a heathen or Israelite, and now you separate from him and let somebody else go in there. Like, we so far removed from our glory and our honor the shit sounds like something minuscule, and it's absolutely not. It's so much the foundation of a nation, like what's in the bedrock of a nation. And it's part of the reason why we're so dysfunctional as a nation today, all 12 tribes.
Right.
It's part of the reason because of that culture, that accepting culture of divorce. Divorce should never happen. You understand? That man die, that woman die, end the story, right? But yeah, and the root oftentimes of it is adultery. The person who's trying to enforce that thing today really is trying to find an excuse for adultery.
Right.
That's all that is. It's really that. Come on.
As I said, even some Christian churches, some sects of Christian churches, they use that to specifically to women, where they say if you come into the congregation, you get baptized. If your husband doesn't come with you, he's no longer your husband.
Exactly.
And they break up whole families like that.
Exactly. It's in that same spirit of it. When that's nowhere in the law. Once again, if that was the case, Moses wouldn't have been able to even be amongst Israel because he had a heathen woman. I think he had 2 heathen wives, right?
Okay.
So, like, how come Moses didn't have to divorce his? You understand?
It's like even more so. His brother and sister tried to check him on the heathen wife that he had, and then the Most High cursed his sister for that.
The Lord punished
Miriam.
Because she tried to check Moses on the shit, and there was no law for that. Like he married who he married, and that's that. You know what I'm saying?
And if I could just get a general breakdown on Isaiah 42 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore.
Okay.
Now I get it myself. I just wanted, official breakdown. I never heard a breakdown.
No, so you could skip up if you want to break down in here, but this verse is traditionally used to describe Israel, 12 tribes, robbed and spoiled. Robbed meaning what?
The inheritance taken.
Your inheritance taken. That's really basically it. Your inheritance, your lineage, who you are, and because your heritage and your lineage is taken, what else is taken from you?
Your inheritance.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because they take your. Okay, give me some more. What do you mean?
The knowledge is being passed down from your fathers.
You want it.
Is it your power to rule?
Give me it a little bit. Make it more tangible. You're right.
Your culture.
Well, that's what's taken.
Right.
That's that lineage, that heritage. That's what's taken. Because that's taken, something else is taken from you.
I'm gonna say like your pride, self-respect.
Well, that would come with your heritage and your culture.
Your birthright.
That's your heritage. Give me some more. What's your birthright?
Your place in the king and on this earth. Your
Okay, the way you're wording it is, I don't think it transmitting how it's supposed to.
count.
Who you inheriting it from? The Lord.
So, but that's part of your heritage too. But there's something else that you are robbed. What's Israel's biggest problem? What do the Israelite tell you today? You walk around, hey brother, what's going on? How you feeling? What's bothering you today? What's your biggest issue today?
Oppression.
Average Israelite is not. He ain't know where he fucking oppressed. Excuse me. He's celebrating Golden State Warriors right now. He's not oppressed. He's not even oppressed.
He celebrated Juneteenth.
He just celebrated Juneteenth and getting ready for the 4th. He's trying to buy hot dogs now because they're $10 a case now. But everybody has one thing they say is that they're struggling with.
Bills.
Money. Who has your money?
Presser.
Specific.
Edomites.
Specific.
the ones who stole our inheritance, the Jews.
Yes. Esau has a word for it. It's called stolen valor. Somebody just look it up for me. Just Google stolen valor. All right, we're gonna come to all the questions online shortly. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, you're gonna come to it shortly, but
There's another question.
kind
That's what we'll just come to. Let me just finish this one. All right, let's read stolen valor.
Stolen valor.
Mm-hmm.
The Stolen Valor Act of 2005, signed into law by President George W. Bush on December 20th, 2006, was a U.S. law that broadened the provisions of previous U.S. law addressing the unauthorized wear, manufacture, or sale of any military decorations and medals.
I mean, it don't really make sense to you, right? You know why it don't make sense to you? Guess why it don't make sense to you?
Because we stole it.
No.
Sly, I was going to explain what that means.
Break it down.
Okay, so what that means is and a lot of times we hear about this. It's like someone who's bragging about something that they had no idea of what they're bragging about. So for instance, in this particular case, they're saying stolen valor is when someone who's never been in the military or may have been in the military but never went special ops and say they were the ones that shot.
Not just say, it says it right there.
They're wearing
what?
They're wearing the medals and commendations.
In Esau's kingdom, right? I'm not too sure if Israelites do it. I don't think Israelites do it as much as oppressors. But from what I've seen, a lot of oppressors do this. They show up at the VA. They show up at Memorial Day. What's the other one for the soldiers?
Veterans Day?
Veterans Day. And they show up in line with a fake uniform from 1960 and, medals and pretend they was in Vietnam. And somebody stepped to them, oh, you was in Vietnam? What platoon you was with? And they do something like a G check, like, who you with? Who you know around here, cuz? It's like that. False flagging, right? In our hoods, you wearing certain colors, somebody gonna check you on your colors to see if you bang or not, right? Right. It's the same thing with the oppressor for his gangs. And this gang we're talking about is the military, U.S. military. That Stolen Valor Act was because people would show up in these fake uniforms with the medals that belong to somebody else. The medals belong to somebody else. Why? Because a veteran would come back and be treated like shit from the government, excuse my language, and to survive, oftentimes, who gets treated like shit from the government? Black and Hispanic veterans. And because we don't give a damn, we sell the medals to get money. And some oppressor gonna go buy the medals from a pawn shop or from somebody and wear it and show up at the VA and try to do what?
Steal their valor.
Try and get some sort of aid.
Try to get money, compensation, an apartment, a car, medical care, which was put in place for people who actually went to war, who actually had their head blown, legs blown off, or got shot at, or deployed and have PTSD. Then some people trying to hustle. You get the point? That's stolen valor. So now you robbed and spoiled because your heritage is taken from you and your lineage and your name. What else are you robbed of?
Your benefits.
Your benefits, stuff that would go to Israel, the children of God. How much does America give to the state of Israel every year? Google it. I want the exact number.
$80 billion a year.
I think it's so much enough. It might be that cumulatively, but just check and see the exact number.
$38 billion.
38 billion every year.
It says a package. Slop.
No sweat. It's in the billions. You're right. It's absolutely in the billions.
Sloppy. So it said over the next decade. So that's basically
it's 10 years.
10 years to 38 billion. That's 3.8.
That's about 3.8 billion a year.
Hong Kong.
I believe that's closer to the figure. I think it's 1 point something billion they've been getting as a standard welfare, like how you get the unemployment or WIC or TANF. The Israeli government or the Israeli state been getting 1 point something billion from the US government for a few years. And that's just from America. Not we're talking Sweden, Russia, Germany, United Nations. Go ahead.
$1.89 billion.
$1.89 billion a year. I believe that 80 billion is cumulative a warrior. That's a cumulative amount. Go ahead. Come on.
Oh, since World War II was 146 billion.
Oh my God.
Since World War II.
Since World War II. That's America or
just America.
Just America have given the Israeli state
$46 billion.
$46 billion because he calls himself the Jew. How much would you want today? Just if you could call a figure today, not knowing this, let's just pretend you didn't know this. If you could call a figure today that Biden could write you a check today, then what would you call? Just not without forget $146 billion. The average brother or sister, hey man, I have a blank check. How much? Just tell me the number.
250,000 a month.
250,000 a month.
They have these memes now where they say, how much would you want for life? $4,000 a week? 2 million?
Or 2 million up front, or 4,000 a week for the rest of your life. And Israel is like, well, I could get this and raise my credit and do it. Because we really don't know. We slack here. We run and spoil. Like, you have to make this thing tangible to really understand the scripture and really understand what happened to you, and to really understand why you're so angry and you don't know why you're angry. In your spirit, you're angry. Just you're not pleased. You're not living. You're not walking around here, like the oppressors are. We are not like that as a people.
Slugger, that's that figure with the amount of Jewish people in the world, $128 million per person. Carol Khan.
And some of that money goes directly to families who they could trace that was in Buchenwald and all them concentration camps. Not just to the government. Some of that money goes direct. They get a check because they're survivors of the Holocaust. Because not every single Jew was in the Holocaust. Jewish man was in the Holocaust. You get the point? Some of that money goes directly to them, a stipend every month or every year, whatever, straight to them. They're not robbed or spoiled that. They're not mourning. They ain't missing shit. You get the point? You and I are. You get the point? We was rejoicing over that damn stimulus money. People was going crazy over the stimulus money and was mad it ended.
Right.
You get the point? It was, go ahead.
I got a story, sir, on that stimulus money, sir, Salaki, right? There's a brother I know in the world. He was always called a deadbeat, right? And everybody calls him a deadbeat because he has 3 kids by these 2 women, and he never sees them, and he never pays anything because he has a record, he can't work. So when the stimulus came around, he paid off all of it, right? He paid off all of it, and all of a sudden you see pictures of him and his kids. So I was asking my sister, because my sister always called him a deadbeat. I said, so the minute he got the money, he paid it so he could see them. So is it that he's a deadbeat, or are they bribing him to be able to see his kids?
Right.
Who's in the wrong? Because you see, the minute he has the money, he didn't spend it on nothing but the kids. Right? So it cut her, because it's like, even us, when we think, oh, these brothers, they just don't care. It's just that they don't have the ability.
It's poverty. It's poverty. It's not that, it's not that, it's not that you're deadbeats. You're struggling. You're struggling. You don't have money for yourself, much less children. And which goes in, again, just a precursor to the topic, socially, America made you an enemy.
Right.
America done engineered you to be an enemy. That Herschel Walker, he just come out and reveal his 4th child. And he's a big-time NFL player. What the hell is his problem? You can't come out and say how much children you have. But once again, socially, you're an enemy to this place. Socially, you're just, something's going wrong outside. You better walk the other way, because if you get caught around there, large black male, arrest him. You got a question. What are you doing here? You get the point? That's just the society we live in. And because of that same stolen valor or being robbed and spoiled, we do not enjoy the benefits of what we should get. You get the point? Now, of course, that's aside from us disobeying the Lord and being cut off. I'm just speaking in the context of this scripture right here. If you really want to understand it, yeah, take it to something people can understand. People can understand money. The average person, you tell them, hey, I'll give you $1 billion tomorrow. Man, I don't need that much. Shit. Give me $1 million. Give me $500,000. I'll do it from there. I could pay off my bills and I could flip that. And work from the average Israelites don't even, we don't have that. I don't want to say greed, but we don't have that aptitude for power. We don't really crave power like that. We don't, that's just not in us because we've been slaves, down there all that.
I was gonna say that, but the only thing I never understood with reparations with our people, we so destroyed, we never pinpoint on the root of it because the oppressor, he can give us all this reparation money, but he still get to keep his seal with the eagle. His face is still on the money. So when he give us the money, we fall right back to sleep. Because now he still has the power. He can say, we gave you $1 million. Now rent gonna be $2 million a month.
Well, I mean, you for sure right with it because even the term reparations is not that's not a term for what we went through.
Right.
You get the point? Reparations is you hit somebody's car and you don't have insurance. Like you had to pay them damages. You get the point? That term reparations, it's been used with what we went through, but that can't describe the payment for what we went through. You get the point? Okay. Like what we went through, the payment for it is in the Bible. Reward her double. Right. As she did to you, you have to do unto her and reward her double. You get the point? That's what I want. You get the point? That's what we should be looking for. Not reparations, but equality. Or not equality, supremacy. You get the point? That's really what you want. You want now the tables to turn upside down. Right. Last shall be first, and the first shall be last. You get the point? Okay. But go ahead.
And to support what you were saying earlier, sir, about when you say it's about money, the Lord says it here in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 11.
Please.
When he's speaking about the reward of the kingdom, he says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and king that will not serve thee shall perish.
You understand? Like that's not reparations at that point. That's supremacy. That's being in charge. That's not being robbed. That's not being spoiled. That's not us even spoiling them. That's them spoiling themselves.
Right.
Which is what happens today with the oppressor. The oppressor has the whole world fawning over him, offering him stuff for the low, bringing forth things because whoever don't serve this oppressor today, whoever doesn't bow to the eagle dies.
Right.
You get the point? And that's what he's saying there, that they bring the forces of the Gentiles, and any king who don't want to serve in that day, he gonna perish. He gonna die.
Right.
You understand? Like that's really what we've been robbed of. That's what we've been and the Israeli man enjoys that today. He enjoys that today with the Iron Dome that protects them from all them missiles. Sympathy from them Palestinian kids with them rocks. Oh, poor Israeli children, poor Israeli soldiers. The Palestinian kid hits you with a rock. It's horrible. He enjoys all of that today, and he's not the children of the Lord. You get the point? You understand, Shaquan? Go ahead. Read it again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
Right. We are all snared in holes.
Basically, drawn into traps.
Once again, you got to make it tangible. You got to make it something that could.
We all Muslim. We all we worship with crystals and sage and all of that.
Religion.
We fall into every ideology and philosophy that there is.
Religion is a hole. Come on.
Student debt and bad credit.
That is a hole. That's a financial hole. Get it, boy?
So can we say that the hood, the ghetto is a hole?
It's called the trap. You get it, boy? It's called the trap. Okay, this is what I would say. The hood, the ghetto is not a hole. but the hood, the ghetto with Christianity is a hole. You get the point? That's a hole in itself. That's a deep hole. You get the point? Because okay, you gotta understand the effect of Christianity on our people, right? And before Christianity, we were not like that. You get the point? We was not living how we live right now. So yes, but you don't want to say the hood or our neighborhoods or ghettos is a whole, because what you're doing is reinforcing the idea that we need to leave it because it's a hole. We need to climb out of it. You get the point? Which is really not what needs to happen. Like, what needs to happen is we need to get Christianity out of our house.
Right.
And once Christianity gets out of the house, you realize the ghetto would be the safest place to be. The hood would be the safest place to be. But Christianity makes it a dangerous place to be. Christianity makes it a very poor place to be. Christianity makes it a very selfish place to be. It's just, horrible because of Christianity, because of the way we think being in the world. You understand what I'm saying? So just as you're breaking that down, you want to be careful with that, because now you could reinforce that idea of, I need to get rich and get out. Right. I need to do everything I need to do to leave out of there and get out of there, when that's not really what really needs to happen, because of course Deuteronomy say the curses will follow you. You don't go and be a Christian in a high-rise building and it's still gonna be in heaven. You understand? Go ahead. Right, so you understand the holes, right? The holes is things that you could fall into. And everything you could name that you could fall into living in America is because of the Christian church or your religion. See, Muslims included in Christianity. Why? Because they believe the same thing. They all religions is really white supremacy. Whether you're Muslim, Buddhist, Scientologist, you all going to bow to the white man. There's no religion that teaches the white man is the devil except being in the Israelite school or UPK. Because we follow what the Bible says. But there's no book that says it. The Quran don't say the white man's the devil. Your Scientology Bible don't say it. Your Church of Latter-day Saints don't say it. Your Buddhists don't say it. I mean, whatever else, your Rastafarians, they don't identify who the devil is, who the enemy really is. You get the point? Okay. So your Christianity going to be tied to them holes, with whatever hole you could describe, whether it's financial, drug addiction, whatever. It's because of Christianity. Okay. Right? Keep going.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Right? That's, again, who's, number one in the prison? Who's the number one incarcerated in the prison? And of course, America is a huge prison. Get the point? America, we in captivity right now. We on the settle block right now.
Like, even people who are innocent.
I mean, okay. At this, even people who are innocent, but even that, I don't get into that, because of course that would kind of allude to the people who are guilty deserve to be there. Right. Okay. You understand? In Israel, we don't have prisons. We don't have prisons. You get put to death, you might lose your arm, you might have servitude for a year, 5 years, 10 years, depending on the crime. You might have to flee to the city of refuge. You might have to live under the judge's house. You remember that? The German broke it down some time ago with the judge, where you whatever crime or something you commit or whatever law you break, you might have to be in ward. You put him in ward under the judge house, where the judge is living in like a 2-story building, and the first floor, that brother had to be there. And every morning the judge gonna come let him out to go do whatever he had to do, and he had to come right back there that night. But we don't have, some prison way out in Bronxville or somewhere out in, Nevada somewhere. You get the point?
So that's like a house, like a halfway house or something, almost.
What do you mean?
Where you can come out, you can leave out, but you gotta be back.
Okay, no, not like a halfway house. This is to make sure you go serve that thing you're supposed to serve.
Oh,
you get the point? But once again, it would depend on, whatever law you broke or whatever crime was committed. But we as a people, we don't have. You're not going to find a record of a prison in the Bible. You understand? You're not going to find that record. You're not, it's not that.
Until you get to Romans.
Until they get, of course, that's not our culture. You get the point? So that's why I say, even whether guilty or innocent, I'm not going to differentiate with the prison system, even though there are brothers and sisters in there who have done nothing wrong and are in there simply because they could feed a system. You get the point? They're in there simply because they could just help power a system up, or the system benefits monetarily from them being there. But then that will also lend to the idea that brother or sister who don't get caught up in there, he or she deserves to be in there. You get the point? You just the worst thing in the world, and then you deserve nothing better than serving 10, 15 years under this oppressor because you so damn evil in that place. That's you don't want to lose something to that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Come. They are for a prey and none delivereth.
Right? You understand that part?
Come.
We are for a prey, meaning what? We have no might or no power. We don't have an iron dome over our country. We don't have our own military that would step outside and defend whatever is going on with us. You get the point?
Come.
We don't have our government. We are for a prey. They could hunt our steps because we are for a prey. They could, do whatever they want to do to us because we are for a prey. We just easy money all day long with no repercussion. Like we are the only people on the earth who you could violate and don't have to think about the violation.
Right.
You understand? Like every one of us in here, you could get into an altercation on the street. And it could be an oppressor, and you're gonna start. Okay, do I really want to go to jail for the next 35 years? And you gave him a pass, but it's a brother. Oh shit, I'll be out in 3. You know what I mean? Whatever. They might just let me go. They might call that up. But you touch one of them, there's repercussions. You understand? Because we are for a prey. Do what the hell they want to do with us. But once again, Jewish man, they have to think about how they handle him. Though. Even if he commits a crime, they have to think about how they handle him, how they put the cuffs on him, what they're going to do with him when they get him, because he have a whole nation behind him. He's not for a prey. He's not a Vic. He's not a mark.
Mm-hmm. Would you be able to use the precept to support what you said? Anybody touch the Esau. Anybody killing Esau shall die 7 times.
You could use that too to show that he is not a prey in the earth, because the Lord wants to prey on him. The Lord wants to be the one who makes him a victim. Right. You get the point? The Lord wants that from him. But our people, once again, the Lord could make it so that they look at us the same way. We had to turn back to the Lord for it. But outside of that, these people are in prey.
If I may, I want to see, can I pull a precept to if it fits in? Matthew chapter 15, verse 14. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind leaders lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
How you would use it?
Because I was going to say, like, how we are following after our oppressor, and he's basically leading us into the ditch because we're not focused on each other. Since he's the oppressor, he's helping us fall even further.
Okay, this one would not be good for the oppressor. That one is good for your leaders.
Come.
Right? Our leaders are blind leading the blind. You get the point? Our leaders that's our leaders. They are blind and they're leading the blind.
Like, is that like Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King, any politician today. They said Bowser win the Democratic thing for mayor, so she's gonna be mayor again. Listen, I give her a hand. She played that thing so good. She make sure and block all the streets for the first half of Gay Pride Month and get them sodomites the whole of DC to dance and prance and spread monkeypox. Yep. I ain't never seen street closures like that this month, and I couldn't understand why, because elections was yesterday, the Democratic one. But I think with the whole mayor thing, there ain't no competition on the other side. The competition is from in-house. and they was so coming up so much against her because housing in DC done going up. They closed down so many schools for the children. All the shit she promised that she was going to do, a lot of it was not delivered. But the gentrifiers enjoyed it, the homosexuals enjoying it, and she made sure they had a good month. You understand? So she's back in. You understand? That would be the blind leading the blind. You get it going? That would be an example of that. And we are for a prey. We just open for a prey. There's no protection for us. You get the point? You can't say nothing about the homosexual. Stop Asian hate. Everybody has some sort of protection, but we don't. Right? Any more?
Come, sir. And none deliver it for a spoil, and none saith restore.
And none saith restore. None deliver it. Nobody could stop what's going on. Nobody could take us out of it. And none saith let's restore. There's no who will have pity on you, O Jerusalem. That's in the Bible. It's Jeremiah 15:5, something like that. Who will pity thee? Nobody would stop and say, well, we have to stop Asian hate. We have to do something about all these people getting killed. Nobody does that. Go ahead.
Like I have one more if I may.
Yeah, please.
Okay. In the book of Romans 2:9 through 11, I was battling this Hebrew individual, like, and I done cut him every single way possible. I just wondered if it was like a death blow I could get for him. The book of Romans.
Yeah, listen, I need to take you down there in DC and let's battle some of these damn politicians. Like, you wasting your time with these fools. Like, sharpen your sword.
Like, but the main thing is he's holding on to when it said God is not a respecter of persons. You know, and I've already killed him with it, but I just wanted to. The book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 9. Tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and of the Gentile. Verse 10. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. Verse 11. For there is no respect of persons with God. So he's taking this as the respect of persons. First of all, he's taking it like Gentiles means the heathens, and then for two, he's taking it like God doesn't have more respect for Israel than anybody else. So what I did is